Welcome to the Defense and Aerospace Report. I'm Vago Muradian here at the Excel Center in London, where we're covering the DSCI trade show, world's largest air, land, sea, space, cyber, and security trade show. Our coverage here is in partnership with DSCI and Clarion Events, and we've got with us probably one of the busiest people at this trade show, my good friend Alan Garwood, who's the head of global business development for BAE Systems. Alan, thanks for joining us.
Pleasure. Always good to see you.
Great seeing you. I want to talk to you about, as we have at these shows now for very many years, which is how do you see the global defense exports environment right now? You know, what are the systems and products that are in demand, and where are the markets that you guys are spending the most time? I know that there are some constant themes, but it's continuously adjusting itself. Japan spending more money, Gulf countries having some challenges right now financially, United States questionable, UK questionable, but other parts of the world, for example in Europe, it's growing. Talk to us about the whole piece and where you guys are putting your efforts.
Well, it's honestly true, we've never been so busy, both throughout the year and particularly at this show, and we've just been inundated with potential customers. Key successes for us, our electronic systems business out of the US is doing very well. A very good market share. Most things that are sold from the States have some of our electronic systems in them, so we're delighted to see that. We get great support from the US when we're trying to sell product onto other platforms, so we're very pleased with that. We're seeing a renaissance in our land area, so we've got a lot of vehicles from both Sweden and the UK and of course in the US. So land systems are really big for us, including things like you've seen on our stand, the broadsword technology, which is wearable electronic sort of capability, and there's an awful lot of interest in that. Our new helmet for Typhoon and other type of aircraft is becoming available, and everybody who's stood there and looked at that has been amazed that you can actually see 360 degrees, you can look down through the bottom of the plane. Just an amazing piece of technology. And the other thing is maritime. It's well known that we've got some major bids into places like Australia for the Type 26 frigate, and so we're really focusing on that. And although this isn't an air show per se, we're still talking to a lot of air forces here about Typhoon, about Hawk and things like that.
You guys are one of the key contractors on the Joint Strike Fighter program, the F-35 program, going with the old-timey name on the Lightning program. But you see a terrific market worldwide for retrofit of that kind of 360 awareness technology in legacy aircraft.
Yeah, it should be. And I think it's when people see exactly what this can do compared to previous generations from other manufacturers, I think it's going to be a huge market for us.
Secretary of State for Defense, Sir Michael Fallon, has talked about this being sort of the year of the Royal Navy and a big focus on the Royal Navy. Obviously, Prince of Wales named just over the weekend. National Shipbuilding Strategy is out. The Type 31E program is now off. Talk to us a little bit, though, on the naval side, and particularly you served as the head of DSO, the Defense Export Services Organization, when you did your time in government, when you took that brief pause from BAE Systems. How important is the Type 31 going to be, do you think, in terms of your guys' export strategy, in terms of Britain's export strategy? How do you see that working out? Because there are some who question that price range. You know, they say, look, at 250 million pounds, you're competing with a whole bunch of lower labor cost countries and things like that. You've spent a lifetime in industry. What do you think the role of that product is going to be?
Well, I mean, I think it's a bit difficult to talk about the 31 because it's a competition. We're not there yet. I hope we're going to play a very important part in that. We've certainly got a lot of capability. I think the price point, as a former head of DSO, is a really good strategy to actually target that market. So it's very competitive, but that's where we've got to be, both for budgetary reasons here and in foreign governments. So I think that's good. For us, particularly at the moment, the focus is on Type 26. We've got 3 under contract at the moment here. There's going to be 8, according to the government's commitment, and we're trying to offer a large quantity into Australia and for several other nations around here. So it truly is a global combat ship. Canada are evaluating it, New Zealand and several other places. So I think maritime is this year's real theme, and I think the Secretary of State said yesterday about focusing on exports for the future. And I think one of the secrets there personally is not only the products we've got, but if the British government can assist us with more government-to-government type sales in the way that we've done recently with 1 or 2 aircraft deals, then I think that will be a big success for the United Kingdom.
You were DSO, you're now in the exports game. Yeah. There's always budgetary questions. Yeah. United States is looking at, you know, its budget is going up and may not go up as much as everybody wants after years of budget stagnation. UK government has been talking up the fact that there's going to be year-on-year budget increases, 0.5%, but then there's also a concern about that new black hole that's developed. Some people put it at 30 billion pounds, some people put it at less, some people say 20 is the just right figure. What kind of impact does that have on you when so many contractors here have been talking about the impact? How significant an issue is that in your ability to export if one of the key governments is, its programmatic future is a little bit in doubt?
Well, I can't speculate on the size of that, partly because I don't actually know, but I think all the major programs that are coming up are going to be featuring BAE Systems. You know, we have the Anglo-French program underway, and the government are pretty much positioning the UK and our role in some of that in a very good way. So long term, I'm quite happy. I think on the export market, some people are struggling because of the oil price. So you do see customers engaging with debate that not says if they're going to buy, but just when. That's the big debate now. Most people want some of the products that we've got, but a lot of people are wondering when they're going to be able to afford it. So there is an issue there. But we are having a very good year. We're meeting all of our business targets. I think we're going to end the year in a very good position with our order book. So overall, the market looks to be pretty buoyant still.
Middle Eastern defense spending has been, and Gulf countries in particular, have been a tremendous engine for BAE Systems, British industry, but also US contractors everywhere. I mean, it is a tide that's raised all boats. Do you have any sense how long it's going to take for that to come back? I know that it's intimately tied to oil prices ultimately, but any sense that you guys know or any sense you're getting from the governments, hey look, we'll be in better position in whether it's 2 years, 3 years, or 5 years?
Well, different customers have different views, but I think the important thing to say is no one stopped talking to us. We're talking in every major Middle East country, in fact most countries around the world. So whatever problems people have or say they have, it's not evident to us in terms of their decision to buy. Some will obviously take longer to get the finances together, but overall, everyone is having the same discussions with us. Our business is long term. I've done this for ages, and we sold the M777 gun in India this year. It took us several years to get there. We sold Typhoon to Oman a few years ago. That took us 4 or 5 years to get there. So it's a long-term business. So short-term cycles to do with oil prices are just run-of-the-mill.
As the group defense business development chief, what are your concerns about Brexit, and what are its potential implications? From your standpoint, what are the potential opportunities?
I think unless there are real tariff issues that will affect the supply chain, for the rest of it, I don't think Brexit's going to be particularly significant for BAE Systems. We are, the country's not leaving NATO. We're still committed to a strong defence budget, a strong defence force, and we're working with the French, we're collaborating with the Germans, the Italians, the Spanish on Typhoon. All of that will go forward. So I generally think there'll be minimal impact.
And let me ask you one last question about where you guys are putting your defense investment for the future. A whole bunch of very, very interesting products you guys are rolling out. A lot of that is with your own investment dollars that you guys are putting, which differentiates you from some of your competitors. Where are you guys putting your money to be competitive as you look 5, 10, 15 years down track?
I think the key thing we're developing is our industrialization capability. We offer a world-class position for most customers. Most of our governments want to buy something that's going to benefit their economy, their people, their training, as well as their military capability. And that's something we're really good at. We do it worldwide. We have 85,000 odd people, and we're not just in the UK, we're in the US, we're in Sweden, we're in Australia, and Saudi Arabia, and India. And we've built that up by being there, delivering on technology transfer, delivering on skills development, as well as offering good products and good competitive prices. So I think that's where an awful lot of our money is going in, that we can offer something and be prepared to invest in other countries, perhaps to a level that other people haven't been able to.
But is that a concern that historically people would buy and then take home, whereas now they want to build it at home? UAE, for example, one of the big countries, big investment in that. Does that present specific challenges in terms of keeping open some industrial facilities you have at home?
I don't think, no, I think in this industry for a long time we've all thought that you can have 100% of nothing or some of something, and I think overall we've got used to seeing that it's a competitive advantage to be willing to do things overseas. And take India, we've been there for something like 70 years and built 1,000 aircraft there. That's been a 70-year line of business and will go on, I hope, for many years. But we've had a very large chunk of a very large pie. We haven't had all of it, but it's been very good business for us, and we'll continue doing that.
And before you go, Australia, are we going to see a big announcement that involves you guys this year?
I think you've known me long enough, Vargo. I'm not going to predict anything. All I will say is I think we've made an incredibly competitive offer on a really good ship. And we're talking to the Australian government, of course. So processes in play, it'd be absolutely wrong for me to make any prediction.
But what number are you putting in the number of these ships you think you can export at which, albeit at the high end of the market? How many ships do you think this market? How many ships are in this market worldwide? Do you think?
I'm not used to giving my sales forecast out in an interview, so if you don't mind, I'll decline to answer that. Okay.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Best of luck, and look forward to talking to you soon.
Okay. Cheers, Marco.
Cheers.
Thanks a lot.